feeds your performance. It somehow, for me, I can access my emotions more easily when I'm in a state of...
I think that's part of live theatre. It's an exhilaration.
Yeah, and it helps me. So I prefer to get nervous and be... to have a problem before I go on, so that it will feed into
I found out that the older I got, the more it was there. Because when you're like 7 years old, you just go on, you do it, and you get off, and you don't think about it. You don't think about the audience. But especially doing this with a lot of pressure that was on Miss Saigon when we first opened, and even now, once the music starts, and it's like, then it starts, and it's like, oh God, I hope I remember the first line out of my mouth. Once the first line comes out, usually I'm fine. It's the first one. And it's really funny to say now, at my age. I'm 17, and I'm new here today. And all of us get a little giggle out of it now.
Maybe this is a moment, Isabelle, for you to tell us a little bit about the American Theatre Wing.
Oh, you're talking about my absolute favorite suggestion. Thank you, Pia. The American Theatre Wing is an organization whose year-round programs are dedicated to serving the theatre and the community and exciting young people's minds and hopes, ultimately developing new audiences. You no doubt are familiar with the Wing's prestigious Tony Awards, which we present each year on television with the League of American Theatres and Producers and CBS. One of my favorite Wing efforts, though, is our Introduction to Broadway program, which brings, we started 7 years ago, and it has now enabled more than 70,000 New York City high school students to attend Broadway shows, many for the very first time. The American Theatre Wing is a wonderful organization, and it's theater in schools where theater professionals like these go directly into the classrooms to work with and talk to students about working in the theater, and the wide range of job opportunities they will find is another part of what we do year-round. In addition, our hospital program brings talent from Broadway, off-Broadway, and the cabaret world to brighten the lives of patients in nursing homes, veterans hospitals, children's wards, and AIDS centers. We also have a grant and scholarship program, which helps off and off-Broadway theater companies. The qualifications for these grants is the same as for our Tony Awards, excellence in the craft of theater. Our scholarships help talented students continue their studies at accredited drama schools. We're very proud of the work we do and are grateful to everyone who supports the activities of the American Theatre Wing, such as the people that are on the seminars today. And so now, having let me say that about my favorite subject, the American Theatre Wing, please, George, start talking a little bit more about it.
We were thinking of audiences, and the only thing I can do is also leave you, in a sense, with a famous statement by our humorist Don Marquis, who we were talking about audiences, and there was a boastful playwright who once said, "I had that audience glued to their seats." And he said, "Clever of you to think of it." I do like to, there is something else which is interesting from all of you, that there's a little bit intriguing, because so much, here you are from 4 different countries, and so much in the last, in some cases 20, some cases 30, some cases 10 years, so much has changed politically within your countries. Perhaps when you mentioned about Scotland, of course, now there really is a movement for Scottish freedom or not being linked. Lea, you grew up under the Marcoses in the Philippines, and of course, fortunately, you're too young to remember Australia before the Whitlams, but it was a very, very much more rigid society. And Anna, you grew up in Ireland before Bishop O'Casey was, caught, shall we say. So the church was very, very strong in your societies. I wondered if you might all talk a little bit about what it was like before and what that freedom has done theatrically, artistically for your countries. Maybe you know, because the Marcuses perhaps who were the most rigid.
Well, I guess they were quite rigid, but being very young and working in a theater company where the productions were mostly Western productions anyway, it didn't seem to affect me so much growing up because, you know, we were too young. And I was only 15 when they fled to Hawaii. However, there were productions that Repertory Philippines wanted to do. They wanted to do Evita. Unfortunately, though, it was not allowed. And only after the Marcos regime were they able to finally stage it, and they've staged it twice in the Philippines, much to the audience's delight and contentment, much to the actors, you know, getting their wishes fulfilled. So I think now there's more of an artistic freedom in terms of the films that are being produced. But sometimes some people tend to take the freedom a little too far, and some of the stuff. Well, some of the films that have been coming out in the Philippines have been on the more lascivious side, which I think under more strict, I guess under more strict supervision would not be allowed to come out. There's artistic nudity and there's lascivious, you know, stuff, and the lascivious stuff is I can't take it.
Interesting. What about Ireland? Because we were talking, you know, there's been a tremendous explosion of Irish theatre. Do you think that is because of a kind of letting up of the church?
No, I don't think that at all. The church and state have separated in Ireland, but Ireland was always rich with the Abbey Theatre, the Gate. We never had restrictions like that, unless it was something, it was nothing to do with the church, unless it was like, I played in the Roast Tattoo, and when the condom was dropped on the stage, a woman complained to the police. It was an obscene act, and we ended up in court. Nothing to do with the church. What has changed in Ireland, there's a great burgeoning of writing and talent and that, but I think that comes also from subsidy by the Arts Council, by the encouragement of young talent. What is changing in Ireland is a prosperous country now, the Celtic Tiger, and hopefully the North of Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are coming closer. Those are the big changes. Artistically, we were always growing. I think that's true.
Nicole, you appeared in London, and as you know, in New York, there's a great discussion about foreign actors coming here with Actors' Equity and taking parts. Did you notice anything like that in London? Was there any question about not using a British actress?
No. I'm Australian, so I actually have dual citizenship.
Oh, okay. So you
I have
didn't
American citizenship and I have Australian citizenship. So I fall into a very odd category.
You're lucky then.
Yeah,
you can do it.
But, no, but I think that the Doma agreed to have an American come and appear at the Doma. That was part of the exchange.
And now here we have we have all of you coming here, taking parts. There are, of course, American actors who say it's not fair.
Well, if somebody has a year, 3 months in which they can play in England in exchange for me, I don't know who's got it. But somebody has the freedom to do that.
Somebody gets
same with me as well.
With Ian.
What is the difference in audience reaction from London to here? Can you, and then Anna, I'm going to ask you for as well. Can you?
You answer that, Ian.
Just a, wow.
Florian's face looking blank.
People.
Yes, no, I suppose with the, no, I think probably,
I'm not asking about the cartwheel.
No, the Americans. No, I think the Americans they seem to love the narrative.
That's what David
humor.
Hare said.
Yeah, that's what David Hare said, and they're I think they're very bright and sharp to that. So any reference within the play about something that's sort of taken place refers back to something the character has been involved in or refers forward. They love that. They're very sharp to the narrative humor, and certain kind of British kind of ironies or. You know, a student has a completely different sort of sense to an American
an English
public
student.
Yeah, to a
an American student.
Yes, and I play
or the aristocrat.
Yeah, or an aristocrat. They have different associations, and so some things improve, and some things it's very interesting. I think it'd be fascinating to do a tour within the play of the world, and you know, and see
Change
the
the
different
sensibilities
reaction.
as you
Yeah,
go.
Do they
it's
have to
very
tell
fun.
British audiences not to unwrap their cough drops like they do in the theatre now? I keep hearing that
No.
announcement.
I think that's quite clever, isn't it? Yeah.
Are the audiences quieter in England, do you think?
I think they
better
probably
behave?
are. I think they probably are slightly, but
we were in a